Hi, Bansaw Crown Music here. Hope you're all doing well. I thought I'd do a bit of a different video this week, a non-Avenger video about plugins which I use often in my productions. If you're anything like me, you probably own a number of plugins, and there are some of these which you use fairly often, and there are others which you hardly ever use, and you think, why did I buy that? But there are some which you use on every production. And I'm going to take you through 5 of my favourite plugins which I use all the time and which I found to be very beneficial. So these are my top 5 plugins in no particular order. The first one is Gullfoss. Got this last year, was very impressed with it. Made an instant impact on some of my tracks. I really love how it tames intelligently certain frequencies. The feature I use most often is the tame feature, often about 30 or 40%. Just taming some of those frequencies which might be resonant frequencies or frequencies which add to the muddiness of the mix. It's very good at that. Saves me a lot of time. You can also, by bringing in the markers from the left and right, only tell it to affect certain parts of the frequency, which is very useful. So that's Gullfoss. Next one is the Ozone Mastering Suite. I've got version 8, I think the version 9's out at the moment. I wasn't quite enthused enough to upgrade to version 9 at this point in time. I find the Master Assistant to be really helpful to give me a very good start in terms of mastering, and then I typically add an exciter, an imager, and other things as well. Here's a tip which I found out recently, and it's if I want to make the chorus pop a little bit and sound a bit stronger than the verse, I've taken now to automating the maximizer. So if you watch the threshold of the maximizer, you'll see it being automated for the chorus. Just makes the chorus a bit stronger. Makes it appear to be a little bit louder. Okay, so that's Ozone. Next one is something related, and it's Neutron. Neutron 3. I got this fairly recently. I was quite impressed with the masking EQ feature. And if you watch here, I've got a vocal going on, and underneath it I've got this kind of pad sound as well. And there are clashes in terms of frequencies between these two tracks. I've linked these two tracks together, and you can see the parts that are covered in red are indicating to me where the frequencies clash in both tracks. And I'm making that into a dynamic EQ, so the voice is pushing down the volume of the pad at certain times. Really useful feature. Again, saves me a lot of time. That is Neutron 3. The next one is Captain Chords. Strangely enough, I don't use this to make chord progressions per se. I'm pretty good at figuring out my own chord sequences, and I'm happy doing that. But what I do use a lot is Captain Melody. I often find myself stuck for a unique vocal melody or some kind of lead melody, and I just find Captain Melody to be really helpful in suggesting some ideas for me. You see me clicking the dice button in the center there, that's to randomize and give me a new idea. Really helpful, really useful. Captain Deep's a bit limited in what it can do. Captain Chords is just improving more and more. I bought it about 1.5 years ago, and I felt like a beta tester for like 10 months. But I stuck with it, and the new releases are just getting better and better. It's turning into a really powerful tool. So check that out. And the last one is the delay plugins which I use. I've been using H-Delay from Waves for quite a while. That's been doing a pretty good job for me. And lately I've tried to stay away from Waves plugins for a couple of reasons. So I did get hold of Crystallizer from Sound Toys. I love the crystal effects in this plugin, but it also does some standard delay type effects which are quite useful. So that's H-Delay and Crystallizer. Honorable mentions, I do use VST Reverb. Found that to be excellent in terms of orchestral stuff in particular. A very powerful reverb. I use Pan Man from Sound Toys. And Endless Smile from Dada Life is a fun thing to use and quite useful. Okay, what are your 5 plugins which you find yourself using time and time again? Leave your list in the comments. I'd be really interested to know. Until next time, stay well.